We have created a series of videos to discuss Texas' long range plan for technology and how you can create a custom plan for your district. First, let's talk about who these videos are for and how to use them. Who is this for? This is designed to guide every district to create their own long range plan for technology. This can also be used to guide individual campuses and classroom teachers. Let's talk about what you will need to best utilize these videos. First, your team. Who in your district is a vital part of the technology conversation? How can you involve the necessary parties and decision makers? Second, bring your creativity. We all face new and evolving challenges daily as we do our best to serve our students. Our technological resources are important and exciting tools that create opportunities for us to think outside the box as we work together to plan for technology and education. Third, download the workbook associated with this module. We will be reflecting on what you're already doing, what you want to begin, and what your goals are. We will be talking about big ideas in these interactive videos. The workbook is a vital part of the process. See the link below to download your workbook now. What are some of the things you'll see in these videos? As we go, you'll see an orange box like this pop up periodically. These definitions will help expand on what we are discussing. You will also see this white folder. This is to remind you to check out the resources that help expand the topic being discussed. These videos are meant to be interactive. We will provide opportunities to pause the video throughout to reflect or make notes in your workbook. So go ahead, pause this video now to gather your supplies and print the workbook. Download using the link on your screen. What is the LRPT and how is it structured? The Long Range Plan for Technology, the LRPT, is an outline of strategic goals for technology in Texas and is intended to be used as a visionary guide to inform and influence educators as you make personalized decisions for your learners. The LRPT is structured into 6 strategic goals. Each strategic goal has 3 focus areas defined within it to help guide strategy creation. Each focus area is further broken down to include the biggest challenge, suggested actions, and short and long-term outcomes. The larger LRPT structure informs how to use these videos and how their resources are structured. There is one video for each of the 18 focus areas. This will allow you to watch the videos in order of what's most pertinent for your district. Each video will introduce the strategic goal and one focus area within it, digging into the challenge, each suggested action, and the short and long-term outcomes. Now, let's look at the LRPT structure as a whole. Remember, the LRPT is first broken down into 6 strategic goals, incorporating statewide trends in technology. Goal number 1, personalized, flexible, empowered learning. Goal number 2, equitable access. Goal number 3, digital citizenship. Goal number 4, safety and security. Goal number 5, collaborative leadership. Goal number 6, reliable infrastructure. As you think about how these goals relate to your district, remember that every school district is unique, so every conversation will be unique. While many share a great deal of challenges, like budget, competing priorities, and security threats, each technology plan should be tailored to individual needs, opportunities, and constraints you have. It's because of this uniqueness that the larger goals are further broken down into 18 individual focus areas. Each focus area reviews challenges, suggested actions, and short-term and long-term outcomes. We will be expanding on this framework during this video, guiding you to build a plan that serves you best. Because it's most likely that you will go through these videos and topics as needed instead of the order of the document, we have built a reference guide to help you easily find where you are in the document, what's next, and what focus area you are in. LRPT will be the first part of the reference description. Next, you will see the strategic goal listed as G, followed by the goal number 1 through 6. Then, the focus area will be highlighted as F, followed by the focus number within the strategic goal, 1 through 3. Lastly, the current section of the focus area will be listed. This could be either the challenge, indicated with a C, one of the actions, indicated with an A and the number, or the short-term or long-term outcome, indicated with either STO for short-term outcome or LTO for long-term outcome. Look for the reference diagram and reference notation in the corner of the slides throughout the video. The last of the 6 strategic goals for Texas Long-Range Plan for Technology is reliable infrastructure. Broadly, building a reliable infrastructure is modernizing legacy hardware and software, replacing aging systems to move toward a more collaborative, agile, and interoperable education system. This includes facilitating the transition from traditional practices to innovative solutions, consistently evaluating current and ongoing investments in legacy systems and hardware, and considering both shortening replacement cycles and the replacement with more efficient and scalable options. Remember to pause this video to print your workbook if you haven't already. Now that we have introduced the strategic goal, let's review the focus areas. There are 3 focus areas to help guide the realization of this goal. Focus area number 1, technology support. Focus area number 2, legacy modernization. Focus area number 3, continuity of operations. Let's move on to focus area number 2, legacy modernization. For the purpose of this video, what are we referring to when we discuss legacy modernization? Broadly, this is the practice of addressing and refreshing outdated technology, computer systems, or applications in a timely way. With the world moving toward the adoption of new technologies at a fast pace, driven by the promise of agility and operational efficiency, legacy modernization becomes a more vital and more rapid-fire practice in districts. For more on this, check out the resources below. Each district will manage this practice in a different manner as you make decisions aligned with your unique needs. That's why each focus area is broken down into the main challenge, action steps to be taken, and short and long-term outcomes to watch for. First, let's talk about the challenge of legacy modernization in school districts. Remember to download the workbook as a tool to collect your notes and reflections. The biggest challenge here is how to be consistent with your legacy modernization process in most likely larger volumes than the past and at a faster rate of change. Remember, a legacy system is more than just something that is no longer the newest or best, but when a technology approaches official end of life and the provider ceases to provide functional upgrades, then it should be considered a legacy system. There are some large issues that legacy systems present for districts across the state as we work to migrate functions. First is security. Over the past couple years, an unprecedented number of devices have been acquired by LEAs for student and staff connectivity on and off of campus. With the increased number of devices migrating back and forth between home and school, a significant security risk is presented when these are not kept up to date. Next, maintenance costs. The longer a legacy system has been in its end-of-life phase, the more expensive maintenance will be. For example, moving to cloud-based infrastructure removes the cost of maintaining and upgrading physical infrastructure, as the cloud provider takes it on as a cost of business. Staff costs are another issue legacy systems present, as they come with a shrinking pool of knowledge and skills, making it expensive to retain the staff and skills to maintain them, and could lead to a larger staff base than you actually need. You may also find it difficult to recruit staff to train on legacy systems, as they're unlikely to want to invest time in learning nearly outdated systems. Lastly, maintaining legacy systems also limits your ability to take advantage of emerging technologies. Embracing modern systems, which can support emerging technologies, helps to create a culture of skills development and innovation that keeps your students and staff learning and growing. Many core functions and classrooms rely on legacy systems, and migrating functions to updated, secure systems can be costly. Even with statewide modernization efforts underway, it will continue to take prioritization, planning, time, and sufficient resources to resolve these issues. Use the resources below for more information on migrating functions. Pause the video here and use your workbook to brainstorm how you are addressing these challenges and taking the necessary steps to migrate functions in your legacy modernization plan. We know the challenge. Now let's think about our first action. Action number 1 is to evaluate solutions for your district. What software as a service and commercial off-the-shelf solutions are being used in your district? These solutions could be used to meet a variety of needs, from administrative to teacher support to learning tools for students and curriculum. Pause the video here and use your workbook to list what comes to mind when you think of SaaS and/or COTS solutions your district uses regularly. As new needs arise, how are you evaluating the possibility of using these types of services over building a custom application? It may make more sense to think twice about building a custom application when you want fixed expenses, since other solutions have fixed and predictable pricing. Opting for these types of solutions can reduce your operation costs as well as maintenance expenses like patches and updates. Additionally, when the COTS or SaaS solutions fit within your current systems, this could be the right option for you. Software is a good fit when you know it has the features you want and have seen the solution work successfully elsewhere. This can be an issue with custom software development, since it's not certain the final version will be affordable or scalable. Has your district built a custom application instead of using SaaS or COTS app options? What were the results? Use the resources below to learn more about how to evaluate options for software needs. Pause the video here and use the workbook to reflect on if your district has built a custom application and what the results were. Was it successful? Were there better options that were overlooked or misunderstood? Let's move on to action number 2. Monitoring legacy modernization means accurately inventorying applications and resources required to provide operational support of those applications over their lifetime. The Texas Department of Information Resources describes application portfolio management as a centralized approach for collecting the various attributes of applications deployed within an agency, empowering end users to make informed, prioritized investment and risk decisions in the delivery of secure technology services that will better support their core business needs. Utilizing an application portfolio solution can have positive impacts on your district, such as reducing IT support costs, supporting software license optimization, retiring unused applications, reducing infrastructure costs, and vendor consolidation. Use the resources below to learn more about how to utilize an application portfolio. Pause the video here and use your workbook to outline what your current application management process looks like and how you can continue to grow this practice. Now let's move on to action number 3. Action number 3 in the legacy modernization focus is to develop accelerated standards for refresh and replacement of student and staff devices that reflects the critical need for current licensing and software. What are your district's current standards for refresh and replacement of student and staff devices? Does this plan address the critical need for current licensing and hardware? Pause the video here and use your workbook to outline your district's current standards for legacy modernization. It is currently recommended that refresh cycles be shortened from 5 years to 3 years. What is your district's current refresh cycle? What would it look like to change your refresh cycle to 3 years? Additionally, it's important to create guidelines to determine the appropriate course of action to take regarding outdated applications and devices to prevent the risk of inadvertent use that could pose a security risk. What strategies are in place in your district to prevent the risk of inadvertent use of outdated programs or devices that pose a security risk? Use the resources below for more information on developing accelerated standards. Pause the video here and use your workbook to review your refresh cycle and your guidelines on outdated devices and software. Now that we understand the challenge and have some actionable ideas, let's look at outcomes. The short-term outcome of legacy modernization is repeatable, adaptable methodologies to standardize and prioritize legacy modernization and reduce risk of system data breaches. Thinking about some of the action steps we have covered so far, what repeatable, adaptable methodologies are in place to prioritize legacy modernization? Are these processes dynamic enough to evolve as needed? Now imagine what positive impact your learning environments would experience with these processes in place. What if your learners and staff didn't have to rely on outdated equipment? What would that enable for your district? Pause the video here and use your workbook to outline what methodologies you use and how these remain dynamic. Also, brainstorm on how modern technology in perpetuity would impact your learning environments. Lastly, let's review the long-term outcome. The long-term outcome of this focus is a proactive approach for managing IT, shifting focus to emerging technologies, reducing future costs, improving security, and better application efficiency. How would a focus on emerging technology impact your district? What would this type of access and experience allow your learners and your district to learn? How would it empower you to achieve your larger goals? Pause the video here and use your workbook to reflect on these questions and the possibilities for your learners. We've covered everything for this focus area. Now what? Continue to reflect on what you are doing and what you have done in support of this focus area. What obstacles and successes came to mind during this video? Who else should be included in this conversation? Find your team. Who is needed to move this focus area forward? Use your workbook and the provided resources as a starting point for a larger conversation around this goal. Start with action 1 and work with your team through each action step to make this a sustainable and customized plan for your district. The ideas you're writing in your workbook will be the material you use to build your district's LRPT. How will you use this reflection process to inform your plan? Lastly, write a short summary statement for this focus area. How would you summarize what you've done and what you need to do for this focus area based on your work so far? Pause the video here to write down your summary statement in your workbook. Thank you for your work to transform Texas education through technology.